Hey guys, this is Cal Knight, Watch Trading Academy teacher, here with a new edition of the YouTube channels, Which Universal Designs and Watches Hold Value? So one of the things that I find very interesting about luxury timepieces over regular watches is if you take a look at any given brand of timepiece, the models that have done the best tend to have a design framework that is consistent around a lot of other types of designs. So in this watch case I have right here, we have everything from Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Hublot, we have Panerai, we have Omega, and the whole gambit of the pieces that, especially the brands we teach you to trade in Watch Trading Academy. But as you look across this entire little portfolio here, what you'll notice is, yes, of course, they all have a round type shape, but there's this more basic design framework that allures people to these types of designs. And that's why certain brands seem to be copying each other, even in certain instances, but a lot of times it just has to do with 5 or 6 different design consistencies that really make watches sell because they're pleasing to the eye, because people who are retail buyers or want to invest in a watch go straight to that watch and it draws an emotion out of them. So some of these consistent types of design frameworks I'm going to talk a little bit about quickly, you can kind of see across the board here. One of them is symmetry. Very obvious, I would think, to many people who even look at life or design in general. If you see something that's symmetric, you're usually more stimulated by it than something that's asymmetric. So with a lot of these timepieces, whether it's the Rolexes, the sport models, the Datejust we have here, this blue dial Datejust here, Panerai, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore, which is their best-selling line of the model, and their franchise model, or the Hublot Big Bang, which is the best-selling model in Hublot, you'll notice that there's a lot of symmetry, whether it's a circle design, an octagon, whether it's square, whether it's more ovular. They all have a vertical and horizontal symmetrical line that goes through that makes them look really pleasing to the eye. Obviously, minus the crown, which is the winding stem that helps you wind the watch. But a lot of these, minus that side, are extremely symmetric and allure the eye to the fact that they're very proportioned and that they're very alluring and nothing crazy is going on with the case size or the case complications, if you will, which are known as functions in the timepiece world. Yes, there are models that don't follow that design paradigm, like the Ploprof Omega, which is a giant diving watch that was made specifically for that function. But in the most case, when you're trading watches and you're looking to resell these to people, they're looking for in-demand watches that follow these consistent design frameworks of symmetry. Another one is the steel and the precious metal. So a lot of these timepieces are on bracelets, as you'll notice, and the reason is it's tough to go wrong with a stainless steel watch nowadays. Whether that is an Omega, Seamaster Planet Ocean, a Panerai, Audemars Piguet, even this Hublot has a steel bracelet, which they usually don't. A common layperson, or even the majority of people's eye, will tend to go towards that stainless steel, that precious metal, and say that looks luxurious, that looks nice, that looks expensive, that looks aesthetically pleasing, and it's something that makes me want to purchase it. So a lot of these watches will come in those precious metals and be on a very nice stainless steel bracelet. And again, different brands have different types of bracelets, but when they're integrated so elegantly, like this Audemars Piguet stainless steel bracelet, and it just becomes part of the entire design of the timepiece, it's much more alluring and it will command a premium in the trading world when you're going to resell that, and that's what we teach you in Watch Trading Academy. The caveat to that is obviously, especially Americans, the Europeans are slightly different, as is the rest of the world, love luxury sport watches, so you will see more of the Royal Oak Offshores, the Panerais, Hublots on a more rubber sport strap as part of that design aesthetic. Now, a lot of times the stainless steel and the precious metal bracelets will actually carry a premium, but there are certain instances, for example with Hublot, where the racing pattern rubber strap actually carries a premium and is more in demand, if I can get it out, than one on a matching stainless steel or titanium bracelet like that Aerofusion is. So stainless steel precious metals are the second element of that universal pleasing aesthetic. And then there's certain color combinations that just are absolutely bonus and bananas to the eye. So one of those is these blue dials. Anything steel on blue dial like this Datejust right here, 41 millimeter, or this Panerai 1058 are absolutely gorgeous. You'll see a lot of watch brands nowadays like Patek Philippe, Bell & Ross, and even people who are generating new models like A. Lange and Zuna coming out with a stainless steel watch that has a blue dial. And the reason is they know it's a hot combination, they know it's what the market wants, and they know it's tough to resist a blue dial stainless steel watch. So a lot of people will generate models that are built around that, and a lot of people like buy, sell, and trading those models because they're hot watch. And even if it's not the most known brand, you're probably going to make money or move it quick when it looks that good. So certain colors, certain combinations of the elements that are playing together are a huge plus, and we teach you kind of what those are in Watch Trading Academy. And then one of the final ones, at least, is a quick tip. We already talked about precious metals, we talked about colors, we talked about symmetry. Is, again, I think one of the most important things, the kind of designer heritage and the history. So when you look at brands like Audemars Piguet, which is still owned by the original family, the Royal Oak Offshore was designed by Gerald Genta, who's one of the most famous designers in the watch industry, who came up with this octagonal Royal Oak and Royal Oak Offshore case that was modeled after a ship's porthole, and again, one of their best-selling models in the line. He also went on to design the Patek Philippe Nautilus, which is one of the best sellers of that brand's launch, and again, can be attained well over MSRP sticker because they're so in demand. Has a lot to do with the universal design aesthetic that we talk about in Gerald Genta's history and heritage with the brands designing these types of concepts. So if you can pick up luxury timepieces that fit this mold of what people may like in terms of the universal design aesthetic, you don't necessarily need to go for the most known watch brand. So if you follow the YouTube channel, you'll understand and you'll hear me say, I don't necessarily like trading Rolexes as much as I like trading other timepieces because the margins are a lot thinner. So I'd much rather look into something like a Vacheron Constantin, an Omega, a Hublot, or a Panerai that has a similar design aesthetic, symmetrical, blue, steel, precious metals, etc., right sizes, where I can make a lot more money by buying lower because I get the deal, and then selling to the correct customer who's willing to pay a premium because of this universal design aesthetic that, again, will help me build up that margin and make a lot of money, guys. So we're going to teach you a lot more about that in the Academy. Click subscribe below. You're going to have a lot more information coming your way and a lot more knowledge dropped on you. And I hope this was resonating with you. If you think there's other universal design concepts that make watches sell really well, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And again, stay tuned for the next stuff, guys. Take care.